Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and don't forget, Christmas is coming. XRP Las Vegas tickets would be a great Christmas gift. It's going to be at Paris Casino from April 30th through May 1st. I will be there. It's going to be this one should be bigger than all the others. And I know right now price doesn't make anyone excited, but I have a feeling by the time XRP Las Vegas is here, everybody will be excited. Right now, the market did a pullback. We're at 3.02 trillion. Earlier, we were at, I think, 3.11 trillion. XRP's at 202. I did buy the dip this morning, and I'll give you some of my reasons why. Dom Kwok, these guys spend a lot of time at Ripple headquarters, and he says he just passed this door at Ripple headquarters called the pump room. Any ideas what happens in here? And I, half joking, I said XRP valuation modeling room. I am joking, but I'm not joking. I know, I don't even know if I've ever said this on this channel. I have been told of meetings at Ripple. I can't say by who, not by anybody at Ripple, but I've been told by somebody who would know that they have done. Of course, they've done valuations and continue to do valuations at Ripple of XRP. It's their greatest asset. And I've heard that those valuations are quite high too, by the way. Crypto liquidations resume, sending Bitcoin back below 90,000. 200 million levered positions have been liquidated over the last 4 hours. I said, I just took some of the XRP supply myself. Stay down, XRP price. I dare you. There's over $1 billion worth of XRP has been bought by all these ETFs that have been issued, folks. So here's just some of the reasons. But before I give you the reasons, let me tell you the number one reason I'm able to accumulate XRP right now in these downturns. The number one reason I'm able to do it is because I don't buy them more than I can afford to hold, putting me in a position to accumulate when things are down. I make sure my cash flows. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm just telling you what I do. I make sure that no matter what happens, no matter how long a downturn is, that I am able to take care of all of my obligations and at the same time accumulate XRP. I don't go crazy. I do a little bit here, a little bit there. I've done it for over 10 years, and I'll continue doing it until all of this goes off. But here's some of the reasons I bought XRP today. There's 8 trillion sitting in money markets, and when interest rates are going to be decreasing soon, and when that happens, that money's going to come out. A lot of that money is going to come out because they won't be getting the yields that they were getting, and it's going to go find crypto and other risk assets. There's a $2,000 tariff check coming, according to Trump. The Clarity Act is going to pass probably in January, is the way I'm hearing it. Tokenization of all real-world assets is coming, which will involve the XRP ledger. Billions flowing into XRP ETFs. The Ukraine war, they were talking about it just this past week. That could end any moment. China trade deal could be announced any day now. U.S. manufacturing is ramping up from what Trump's doing. QT is coming to an end. A new Fed Reserve chair is coming in here in the next few months. Leverage in crypto has been cleared out with all the downturns. There's a lot of reasons that I keep accumulating. Now, if you haven't figured out how big of a deal this is right here, I've mentioned it in the last video. Bitnomial launches the first CFTC regulated spot crypto exchange in the U.S. I've told you for over 7 years that what XRP is about is the derivatives. When you hear all the money, think about derivatives, think about DTCC. That's why we're here. Derivatives. That's the big money. Okay? The settlement layer. All right? So this was announced today, and I had shown you a video about it. I think this is a different video or part of a different video.
Welcome back. Crypto goes mainstream. The Commodities Futures Trading Commission announcing the launch of the first government-supervised crypto trading platform. It allows Americans to instantly buy, sell, and finance digital assets. Fox Business's Darren Botello, live in Washington with all the details. Darren, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Maria. Of course, right now, as we all know, you can buy and sell crypto online already, but this is the first time, like you said, a spot trading platform is getting the full backing of the federal government. So why does this even matter to investors that the CFTC is backing this new Bitnomial platform? These other platforms are legally operating, but here's the catch, Maria. They're often called the Wild West. Basically, it's buyer beware. We've seen this with the collapse of FTX and customers eventually losing out.
What did I tell you years ago? All this stuff that you've seen and the scams and the this and the that, when Wall Street finally comes in, they're going to say, see, you see how dangerous all this is? You need us. And that's what the transition is that's happening right now.
On huge profits, they would have had their money stayed safe in the market. They would have had it. Now with this Bitnomial platform, there are stricter standards for transparency, security, and consumer protection.
Wait, who's been more transparent than anybody in all of crypto? That would be Ripple.
To prevent an FTX-style collapse.
Who was nowhere near the FTX collapse? Ripple.
We spoke exclusively with acting CFT.
Okay, we saw the Caroline Pham part, but did you know this? Yes, Brad Garlinghouse is on the Bitnomial board of directors. This stems from a 2024 funding round where Ripple led Bitnomial's $25 million investment and entered a strategic partnership with Garlinghouse joining the board as a part of the deal. Bitnomial, a CFTC-regulated exchange for digital asset derivatives, announced alongside the funding, and no public changes have been reported since. Garlinghouse's involvement fits his role in Ripple's crypto ecosystem, including support for Bitnomial's 2024 lawsuit against the SEC over XRP futures jurisdiction. It's all coming full circle, folks. The chickens are coming home to roost. The shackles are off right here, Paul Barron.
We have talked to a handful of fund managers that have launched XRP ETFs here recently, all of which have been very successful. Do you think we're at a phase now where the institutional validity that's being put out there within Wall Street, along with the demand that's coming from both institution and retail, has this started to step XRP up to the level of what's happening in the Bitcoin and ETH ETFs?
I think that we're moving in that direction, right? I think that there is a very interesting story playing out around stablecoins. XRP is one of the only chains that also has its own stablecoin, right? The RLUSD. And I think that adds a new element to what...
I think we played part of that in the last video. I just realized that. Uh-oh, look at this. Netflix announced acquisition of Warner Brothers. Remember when Blockbuster laughed at Netflix? When they wanted them to buy them, I think. Well, guess what? Similar to how Bitcoin maxis laughed in the faces of the XRP army, it's time to lock in, folks. Things are about to get interesting. And then you got this. BOJ is about to shake crypto markets. Japan's likely rate hike to 80% December 18th, 19. This threatens the yen carry trade that's been funding Bitcoin and risk assets for years. Last time they hiked was August 2024. Bitcoin crashed to 49,000. 600 billion wiped from crypto. 1.14 billion in liquidations. History repeating. So what I think this is going to cause is this will accelerate the U.S. lowering interest rates. And then you'll have capital flight to the U.S. How about them apples? I think that's where this is going to go. And then here's Matt Hogan with Thinking Crypto about Ripple Prime.
Speaking of M&A, one of the things I had in mind, I don't know if you agree here, but once the market structure bill is passed into law and there's clarity, across the United States, what you can and can't do, what are the guardrails, could we see M&As skyrocket? Maybe some of the TradFi folks, the banks say, you know what, I don't want to build out all these crypto infrastructure items. I'm going to go buy these crypto native firms. Do you think we might see things like that?
Yeah, I think you'll definitely see that. I think that's going to be a natural response because you sort of have the regulators starting a race, like shooting a gun off to start a track race. And some companies will choose to build and some companies will choose to buy. I think you'll start to see that next year. The Genius Act goes into effect in January of 2027, right? So next year is the building year for companies that are looking to enter that space. Some may choose to do it via acquisition. The same is true for tokenization. Right now is the time to build before the regulatory gun really goes off and you can operate at scale. So I think that will be true. Maybe the thing people aren't looking at, two things in M&A I'll call out for you, Tony. I think crypto wallets are going to be attractive M&A targets because that's a way to connect with crypto customers, which is one of the hardest things to find. So I think that's a particularly valuable area I would keep an eye on. And then I think the reverse is also true, which is large-scale crypto companies may acquire firms in the traditional space as those two places merge. I'm not sure it's one direction. I think it may be bilateral, and maybe people aren't considering that bilateral approach, but I think you'll see that in the next year or two as well.
That's such a great point, the opposite happening. And we're seeing a bit of that. One that comes to mind is Ripple and Hidden Road and things like that.
Exactly right. Yeah, I think Ripple has been at the forefront of this, right? If you imagine that the two worlds are coming together, it doesn't have to be the case that it's only coming from this direction, right? We think in crypto that crypto is going to disrupt TradFi. Well, if that's true, we should be buying them, right? And we should be co-opting their customers and giving them a better experience with new tools and lower costs and all of those things. Those customers aren't necessarily easily going to migrate directly to crypto unaided, but you're starting to see it. You mentioned XRP. Sort of on the bubble of this is some of the acquisition activity we've seen out of firms like Robinhood, which is a quasi-crypto company sort of straddling that border. I think you could see more and more of this over time.
Well, speaking of M&A.
Okay, we're going to go into DAIXRP.com. That's the Patreon. If you'd rather join through YouTube, you can click join below any of these videos, or you can join through X by hitting subscribe. You can also, if you wanted to give the Patreon as a Christmas gift, I put the link in the description of this YouTube video. It's right down there in the description, and you can click on that link if you'd like to gift it for Christmas. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go.